Hello everyone. My name is Paradise, and today I welcome you to another episode of the Sustainability Squad. I am joined today by an awesome person, Ebere Onwe, the founder of Sisters Alive Foundation. And with her, we'll be having a number of conversation around her projects, the community development in the communities where she's working, and we also get to know her as an individual. So don't go anywhere. And next, she'll be introducing herself. So,
Okay.
thank you so much for joining me today. Honestly, I'm really grateful. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure. A
Thank
pleasure.
you. So, I don't want to like do the introduction, so I would want you to like say hello to those watching, and so first of all, tell us about yourself. What inspired you to start Sisters Alive Foundation?
Okay, again, thank you very much for having me. It's really a pleasure. My name is Ebere Onwe, currently Kennedy. I cannot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, I forgot
so
that.
no, it's fine. Originally from Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, Nigeria, and I'm a girl child advocate. I like to introduce myself as a girl child advocate. I'm also an event planner on the side, but primarily I'm a girl child advocate. I've always been a girl child advocate. Girl child advocate in terms of girl child empowerment. I love to see girls live to full potential, become women that really contribute and are valuable to the society and not short, live below the dreams and aspirations and the callings of God on their life. Yeah, so that's basically what I love to do, and that was what informed our starting Sisters Alive Foundation in 2020. And I'll just give a brief history of how we started staff because
Okay.
I love the story. It's very inspiring. I've always been concerned about the rate of teenage pregnancy in my community. Any person from youth that says that we have very high rate of child marriage, teenage pregnancy, and our own issue is not because of religion or anything. It's just I think I don't know. It's not cultural per se, but something that became a norm at some point. I don't know when, but I know I grew up seeing it happen a lot with my cousins, neighbors, childhood friends. You go to school and you come back and somebody you were playing with during the last holiday has gotten
Married.
married and the person is pregnant. Not even marriage, not married, but pregnant and then moved into the man's house. So I saw it happen again and again. And growing up, my mom is a teacher. So I also saw her, always complain about a girl that is very brilliant, and then her parents say they are no more paying school fees. She come back home. She was always talking about. We always had conversations about things like that, and how she had to pay WAEC fee for one girl, and it happened again and again. And I was always complaining about it subconsciously. Up until 2020, the COVID, everybody was at home. We're all very idle, and I was having that conversation again with my cousin, and she was like, Ebere, you've been talking about this thing since we were small. Don't you think it's time you actually do something about it? That was when it dawned on me that, see, it's true. I've been really complaining about this thing. So I was like, what should I do? She said, you can do something now, anything. And I now said, okay, let me just go to school, ginger girls, talk to them. You have to go to school, just inspire girls. And that's when we had our first outreach. We just went there, talked to girls about purpose, assignments, why you are here. And from that conversation, we now started asking questions. Okay, why is this even happening in the first place?
Yeah.
We started identifying some root causes. From there, I was like, okay, this is not even a one-off thing.
Yeah.
You can't just talk to them and leave. So what do we do next? And then we had the boot camp that we had in 2020, same year. And surprisingly, this thing is happening during the COVID. Sometimes I still wonder how we did it
Yeah.
because we were able to have that COVID. And I didn't have a job at the time. I didn't have any money.
Wow.
But I was able to meet, I wrote letters, I did legwork, met organizations, got partners in Abakaliki during the COVID. People were able to support. The facility we used for the boot camp was literally for free. All we did was buy diesel, to fuel
Yeah.
but the whole place
Generator.
was, had computers and everything because it was a tech boot camp.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was after that boot camp that I now started, trying to check out the development sector. I never knew there was a sector called the development sector. I was just trying to find out, is there anybody else doing this thing I'm doing, or am I just crazy?
Yeah.
And then I realized, people are really doing stuff. Oh. I started learning about slum to school. And even now, I think that was the period I met you. I started
Yeah.
seeing Lucy and other people in Abakaliki. Was like, where have I been? you know. And then I started attending courses online because I didn't have any clue about how to do non-profit or development work. In fact, I did not even know we were going to become an
I know.
organization in quotes. I just wanted to do this work and run away, and go back to do, the things I was doing in my life. So yeah, but from there, from the boot camp, they started teaching us about sustainability. This is, if you want the work you're doing, you need to measure impact.
Yeah.
You need to do. I was like, this is serious business, and that was when we started talking about registration. We now got registered in 2021, got our board of trustees, and that's how we got here today.
Yeah, it's actually it's a very beautiful story. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think the fascinating thing is that you saw a problem and you eventually acted on it, which often a lot of us come across challenges like this, even in our neighborhood, within the family, but we just don't always know where to start from, how to start from. So it's good to know that you can actually start from somewhere, not necessarily by as an organization, but just so it's good to know that someone can actually start from somewhere to provide solution to a problem. So that was really interesting. I would also want to know, like, now that Sisters Alive Foundation exists as an entity, what are like what are the key issues? What does it aim
Yeah.
to achieve? What does it want to address as an organization?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
So I was like,
I
now
didn't get
that
your question.
Sister Salai Foundation now exists as an organization, what is the aim of the organization? What are the
Yeah.
key issues it's hoping to address? What does it aim to achieve as an organization?
Yeah. Okay. Like I mentioned at the beginning, our goal, primary goal as an organization, is to make sure that girls, which is women, of course, live to full potential. That is the most common objective of the
Yeah.
organization, that we want women to live to full potential. We don't want a girl, because you come from a poor background,
Yeah.
you don't complete your education, that you want to go to school, but because of a poor background you are not able to go to school, or you want to start a business and you can't start a business because you're a woman, or because whatever, you don't care about your sociocultural or political, or whatever is happening, socioeconomic circumstance. We want women and girls able to live to full potential. That thing you want to do, that God has laid in your heart to do, we want you to be able to do it, and we want to be the bridge between you and your dreams.
Yeah.
So that's basically what staff exists for. Yeah.
Wow, I like the
because
last part,
because
being the bridge between you and your dream. It's
yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, because the original problem we saw was teenage pregnancy, right?
Yeah,
And like I mentioned, teenage pregnancy in Abakaliki is not a consequence of religion. It's mostly socioeconomic, sociocultural, right? And so we think about it, and we know that there are series of causes that could, something that could make a girl to decide to follow a man.
Yeah.
as a teenager, or even before her teenage years. Down, it might not even be money, it could be mindset, it could be the influence she has
Mm.
around her, And even though these girls might not even necessarily know what is right and wrong, we want to be able to stand in the gap and be the light, to direct. So now it's not even about money, it's not
Yeah.
about economics, it's about mentorship, it's about guiding you to say, see, there's more to life than this. Unless this is ultimately what you want to do, then that's okay. But we'll also still show you that there are also greater opportunities in the future for you if you could consider. So that's basically what we do, just shedding the light to let you know that there's more to life. You can be more, you can contribute to helping Nigeria become greater, helping your society, your community, your family, even though you girl.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, actually.
Mm.
Mentorship, a lot of people don't understand the importance of mentorship, and they're just like, oh, I want to help you take this. If for
Yeah,
like you can just train someone on a skill and like, oh, I've trained you, use it to, fix your life. Someone who
yeah,
has not been taught how to actually earn and keep developing that skill will end up having a skill, being jobless with the skill, being hungry
yeah.
with the skill as well, and same cycle of poverty that probably the person intended to break will still be
Mm,
there, even though you've intervened. So
mm.
it's really beautiful. The mentorship aspect, it's beautiful how the scope and the whole idea. I find it really nice and deep. And let's just have I how did you come about the name Sisters Alive Foundation? Like, what is this significant? What does this signify anything to you? Like, why Sisters Alive? How did it come about?
One of my friends will make a joke and say I started staff because I was an only girl and I needed people to call sisters. you know. But to be honest, it's not very far from the truth. I think the name came from when I was really reflecting on what to call staff that would reflect what I had in my heart when I started
Yeah,
it. Because I felt that there are so many things. I don't know if you can still hear me.
I
Can
can.
you still hear me?
I can.
Yeah. So I felt that there are certain things that I would have appreciated if someone taught me as a teenager,
Mm.
or maybe if I had a big sister, person would
Yeah.
have taught me. You know, there are so many things I learned on my own, and maybe by virtue of certain exposure, I was privileged to have. And I know that it was because of lack of those things that some girls were made the mistakes they made.
Yeah, that they make. Yeah.
So yeah, and so I name Sisters Allah is like it's a group of girls or women who are sisters and they're each other's allies.
Yeah.
So even if you see our logo, you see the hand of an older woman raising up the hand of a younger girl.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I've seen
yeah,
that, but
so
I didn't think of it like the older woman and the younger. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that. So it's like your sister's ally.
Yeah.
So that's your sisters watching out for each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So
That's,
that's
oh,
where the
yeah.
name came from.
Okay. I've actually seen your logo, but I I I know it's two hands, holding each other, but I didn't think of it like the older person kind of
Yeah.
supporting the younger person up there. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you know, they've worked on the logo over the years. The original logo was a picture. It was actually a picture there when I started. You see the hand of the older woman
Mm,
and the younger hand. But now, as they, how they keep working on graphics and all,
yeah.
you just see two hands. You know that it's an older hand and the younger hand, but it's still two hands.
And
Mm.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So at what point, can you share like a pivotal moment or story that shaped like I know you've shared like how it started and how it's been going, but what moment kind of shaped the organization's journey as an entity to where we are at the moment?
Yeah, I can remember one because, like I said earlier, I thought we were just going to do this thing in 2020. Once COVID was over, I'll just run back to my life, you know. So, but after we finished that boot camp we did in 2020,
Yeah.
we had a lot of girls. It was so nice. The boot camp was so good that we had there was this school that gave us their bus. So the
Yeah.
bus was bringing girls from rural communities to Abakaliki
Wow.
for the entire 7 days of the boot camp, bringing them back and forth. You know, so it was really good. It was really nice. But then after that boot camp, we tried to keep in touch with most of the girls. We really tried, but you know, some of them were still in school, some did not have phones. We had the phone number of some of the parents, so we really did everything we could in that boot camp. We talked to the girls, we brought speakers. That's at the end after the skills training and all.
Yeah.
We even had like prayer sections, laying
Wow.
on of hands, and all those things. So it was really nice. We led them to Christ. So I think it was a month after that camp or two. And
I
I
can't
heard that
hear
one
you.
of the
Can
girls
you
from the
hear
boot
me?
camp was pregnant. Yeah, I
Oh,
can hear
please take that again. The network was bad. I didn't get you. You said
you.
who was pregnant?
Yeah, I said so. One of the girls from that boot camp was pregnant
Wow.
after the boot camp, and then another girl, two girls that came for that boot camp were pregnant. So I was
They were
devastated. I
pregnant
was
at the time they
disappointed.
attended, or they got pregnant after they attended.
To be honest, I did not even care. I did not even care to check the timing. But
Yeah.
the fact that that it could still happen even after that detailed
Yeah.
program. So I knew it was a function of the environment that they were, because they would come for that program and they still go back to the
Yeah.
environment. They will come for that program and they will still, and you don't know the adults living with them, the manner of things they're exposed to. There are so many girls, and I mean, how many people's houses will I go to monitor? And that's when I decided that, see, this thing is not something that I would just do and just
Go
walk off
back.
like that.
Yeah.
So 2021, we worked on there was
Hmm. Hello, can you hear me?
okay.
All right. So the
Yeah, so
network went bad. So you were talking about 2021 when after you found out like they were pregnant.
that was really the turning point for me when we realized that regardless of every effort we put into the boot camp and to train the girls, two out
Yeah.
of the girls got pregnant. And those are the two we know,
Yeah.
So what about the ones that we don't even know about? So I started that, okay, this is not something that I should do. And I, I was really terrified because I was like, is this something I'm going to give my full time to? Nobody's going to pay me for it. But then
Yeah.
I just felt it was worth it, right? So I now devoted 2021 to really studying about starting a non-profit. I learned non-profit management, so many things, anything regarding structure,
Yeah.
registration, recruiting board members, and what
Yeah.
have you, all those things. And that was when we did our registration, all the bank, everything,
Yeah.
the thing in Nigeria. And towards the end of 2021, 2022, we now launched the mentorship with the girls. And mentorship, the skills training, it was like it now became like a wholesome thing,
Yeah.
where we follow the girls. The girls we started with from 2022 are still with us. This is 2025.
Sustainability.
You know, they are
That's
still with us. Now, some of them are already in 400 level university. They already have their businesses
So I was saying that that is
Yeah.
sustainability, it's like what I the last time we were chatting at that I mentioned about one is one. So it's not about reaching 5
Mm.
million people and and just letting them go and then you record we've reached 5 million children. So the ones you had, you see you following through. That's beautiful. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
At some point, even some of our board members are like, so when do you let the girls go? you
Yeah,
know, so when do you let them go? Yeah, so but we've watched them and they tell you that the mentorship they had, for that first mentorship, it made them they feel like they are different
yeah.
from every other girl in their community.
Hmm.
They are standing out because apart from the mentorship, they have backup. They
Yeah,
call us any time of the day, whether it's for guidance, for advice, even for financial help,
support. Yeah,
whatever it is that they know they have somebody backing them up.
yeah.
And they know there's somebody they don't want to disappoint,
Disappoint.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so even if their parents are saying anything, they know that these people have invested so much. I cannot afford to disappoint Auntie Burial. I
yeah,
cannot afford to disappoint Sisters Ally. So they do their best to, and they're very open to us. They tell us any challenges they have. Some of them face pressure from home about getting married. Some of them don't have any support
yeah,
from anywhere.
yeah.
So they do everything on their own, they fend for themselves, and we know these girls, right? So, but yeah, let's not
No, it's
deviate.
it's it's
That
really
was the really the
beautiful. Yeah, it's really beautiful what
that
you
that was
do.
really the turning point for me. That was really the turning point for us when we decided that see, let's just do this thing. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing
All
well.
doing well. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So in the next few years, what are your goals? Where do you see Sisters Ally? Let's say in the next 5 to 10 years. What
Mm.
what are the
Yeah,
goals?
the first the I think the one I can just think of my mind right now is the community. We already have it, but it's not yet formal. But I can already see it coming.
Yeah,
Where the girls are friends, they have relationship. The
yeah.
girls that come from staff, where
Support
the
each
girls
other.
we try our best for them to bond. Yeah, they really bond a lot because we have a lot of meetings with them. We hang out, picnics, financial training, mentorships, whatever, what have you. They always meet.
Yeah,
So where they support each other.
yeah.
There are two now that are trying to start a business together. They learned
Wow.
the same skill, so they are trying to start a business. Yes, we want to have that very strong community
Network. Yeah,
of girls, that inspire each other, girls that can remind each other of where they are coming from, regardless of the influences from the environment. That you can look and say, "Ha, I know where this girl. If this girl can make it, me too.
yeah. I see
I
them
can make it."
coming in as even sponsors for other girls.
Yes,
I see
exactly.
them coming in
And
to
that is
sponsor.
where we're actually heading there now because the next set of people that will be trained in terms of skills will be trained by our girls because they are very strong already.
Yeah,
They are very capable. We are not paying anybody. And thankfully, we have our facility now.
yeah,
So the only challenge we might be having, although I know we can, because the skills training we offer the girls is very extensive. That's
yeah.
why we do it with business owners in Abakaliki. So they go there every day for a year.
That's
They
good.
work and they learn. So they're not just learning the skills, they're learning the business of the skill. I always tell them there are tailors and there are tailors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have a tailor that has one sewing machine for
Yeah,
the every 5 years, that same one sewing machine. And you have one that in 6 months she has bought two extra machines.
yeah,
Which one do you want to be? So that's what I tell them. And so when they work with people like that, they are inspired to they
yeah.
learn social media marketing, they learn all those things. So
Mm.
my only concern with our girls training other girls is we don't train the girls for them to just come and start doing business.
Mm.
We train them for them to be able to pursue their dreams, which includes education. So most of our girls that have learned skills have now gotten admission. They're in school.
Yeah.
Currently, they're writing exams, for instance. So imagine they had people they were training. Those people had
Mm.
to wait for them. So
Yeah.
those people will not train as intensely as they trained
Yeah.
because now they are in school. That's just my concern. But I know we'll figure it out
Okay.
eventually anyway. But yeah, that's where we are going to in SAF, where our girls have that strong community and support, where girls in their community. Because I remember when we were having conversation with those girls, a few years back,
Yeah.
and this one will be like, one day I recorded that session, but I can't find it now.
Yeah.
They were asking them, so how many people in your community are graduates? How many girls? Some of them couldn't think of a single person, a woman in their community that had gone to school and graduated. They couldn't think of a single woman in their community who was financially dependent. I'm telling you.
Wow.
So when girls, because we realized that was one of the problems that we were having. There were
They
no
didn't
role
have role
models,
models.
no role models. Yeah.
Mm.
So those are some of the issues that we also, and it was also the reason why we started this. We call it the girl adoption project. That was why we started the girl adoption project. Girl adoption projects are raising leaders, as in women leaders who can influence, not just leaders in politics now, but influencers that
Yeah.
will influence other girls in their community. So it's not just a matter of I went to school, but it's not just I went to school, but I went to school and I'm doing well.
Yeah.
That kind of those kind of women, those are the kind of girls that wants to raise. And we have a couple of them. They're not many,
Yeah.
but we'll have a couple of them such that when we take them back to their community, for example, to speak to girls, she can tell you, this is my father's house. You don't will know me,
Yeah.
and you can see her, she's not doing badly. Even if
Yeah.
she's not driving Range Rover and stuff, you can see that this person's life is better than it used to be.
It used to
So
be.
you
Yeah.
can decide if you want to follow an Odogu Parara, or if you yourself
Oh, thanks, we will.
want to help yourself and
Yeah.
contribute, to. So that's what we are trying to do, to build that community of women that inspire other women,
Yeah.
and also have a system where we girls now help to train other
Other.
girls as well.
So
Mm.
this, like, I don't even know what to say, but this is like really impactful if you ask me. And in
Mm.
fact, what I like the most is the fact that you've gone beyond the facial, what we are doing to, you've gone beyond, you don't just look at numbers, you look at individuals, you look
No.
at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at communities. For one, I truly believe that change is individual and it has to start with the smallest unit, which is the community. Imagine
Mm.
if we are able to like get clusters of communities working, or women, like focusing on your project now, young girls and women in communities,
Mm.
if we bring them up to speed and they can contribute to
Yeah.
the economic growth of their community, the as much
Mm.
as the men are contributing or can contribute, everybody's lives will be better, like way better than, this is it's really beautiful. So I was just going to ask if there's like, but you've mentioned the number of girls. Before I before I ask the last question, I
Mm.
wanted to know if like a single person you would like to like share their story, like someone who's benefited from the program, you would like to like tell their story or project their story, if there is one you would like to share, like just single out, talk about their progress. Oh, okay, please go on. Go on.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just thinking, I mean, there are just a couple of stories coming to my head. I'm thinking of, okay, let me share one I haven't really shared. I don't think I've shared her story in public before. So I met her, she's not from Ebonyi, she's not from Abakaliki, she's from Anambra. I met her during my NYSC, and she was a very brilliant, very in her class. I would say she's one of the top three.
Wow.
Very brilliant, very dedicated, very hardworking, very respectful. So, and I think she was also the class prefect or something. So I it's not like she was my favorite student or anything. No, but I've always been, very. a human person, individual kind of
Yeah.
person, like you mentioned. I like to know my students individually when I was doing my service. So I knew everybody and their own personal challenges. And I know she had, although she was in school, her grandma was paying her school fees, help her personal needs and all. So after my NYSC, I left. Most of them kept in touch with me. And after a while, she reached out to me to let me know her grandma had died.
Oh,
And it was her parents. I don't even think she met her parents. It was just her grandma that she had known all her life, and the woman just passed on. So I still kept in touch with her. I kept encouraging her. But obviously, the dream of going to school was looking like it's never
yeah.
ever going to happen. So she started living with family members, from this family member to the other, from one abusive home to the other. At some point, she had to come back. She just came back to the village and got a job as a sales girl and was working somewhere. You know, she was working somewhere. The man was really impressed. They were doing so well. The man's business started growing. She was reaching out to me, letting me know things are looking really fine. How guy is really impressed. The man was always commending her. Customers liked her because she's a very jovial person. She's a salesperson,
Yeah.
and she was really doing well. She had worked for the man for over a year. The man was not like, don't you want to go to school? You're really brilliant. So just buy jam form. I will train you.
Wow.
You're smart. I don't want you to stay here like this. She told me, I was like, it's not the prayer. We've been praying for this. And she said she was afraid, according to her. What if this man abandons her
Yeah.
along the way? She'll just drop her. What is she going to do? That she doesn't, she'll just have felt like, this one is just unnecessary here. Just buy jam form.
Yeah.
So she kept dragging her feet. That year passed. She didn't buy it. I was like, don't do this next year. Next year again, the same thing. I was like, this girl, if you had brought jam, and I know if she buys jam, she get addition because she's very
Yeah.
doubt if you can hear me. It's frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, okay, thank you. So after a while, the Oga got married, and that was when the issue, started coming up. And then money started missing, and then one issue led to the other. And she was the person in charge of the money, you know. And it was just really, it got so bad. Well, the money will miss, she would take money from her salary, replace it. She didn't want the Oga to get worried. After a while, a very huge sum got missing. She just couldn't hide it. This girl was so depressed. She called me one night. She was like, she was going to commit suicide. I was like, no, 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 we can't keep doing this. It got so bad. After a while, she had to open up to the man. The man became disappointed. It became a full-blown village case, like everywhere. This girl was just dying. And this man was like the only person she had known on her that was even trying to showing interest somehow to
To
help her
help
out.
her.
And yeah, I just told her, see, just come to Abakaliki. Just come. And me myself, I was even still trying to figure out my own life at that point, if I remember. But I just knew that, based on my experience, whenever these girls show up, God just somehow makes a way.
Yeah.
And eventually, she was able to sort out the issue with her boss at work, and then she left Anambra and came to Abakaliki. She stayed with me for a while. When she was in school, I knew she usually baked cakes, small small cakes, when I was
Yeah.
doing service and chin chin and sold. It was even during my birthday last month that she reminded me I was the one that taught her how to bake cakes. Can't even
Wow.
remember. She said I was one of the person that taught her how to bake the cake she was selling then in school. So but I knew she had interest in baking, so I spoke to one of our partners. I spoke to Oma
Yeah.
Sweet. So Oma Sweet said she could come. So she came to Abakaliki. She stayed with me in my family house for a while. So she started training
Yeah.
in Oma Sweet's shop. So from there, some people, I think some of her friends from home or something, contributed money for her. She got a place, moved closer to Oma Sweet's shop. She learned with Oma Sweet for about a year. After that, they finished from there. One of our board members gave them a job to work with him.
Wow.
From there, this girl started baking, at home. working there, like played the lesson. She told me she's buying jam from. I was
Wow.
really surprised she bought jam from. Now she's in S, so she's currently studying business management. She's
Wow.
doing her business, while she's in school, and she's paying her school fees herself, you know.
Wow.
And she's not even among our scholarship beneficiaries, but based on the small money she's raising on her own, from time to time anyway, we support her because we know it's not easy. She doesn't have anybody else who's helping her,
Wow.
yeah. But that's her story, and one day at a time.
Wow. Like,
As you can see, it's not perfect. It's not like we gave her 1 million
what do you mean
naira
it's
or
not
whatever, but we
perfect?
try to take girls,
What do you,
step
it's
by step.
it's a perfect
You
story. If there is no story that is perfect, but if there is a
know?
perfect story, this is one. You know, you don't most times what people want is just like a foot in the door. Like they just want a hand to hold. How
Yeah.
many persons will open their doors to someone they met during NYC teaching? How many persons? And it is also nice to say that, your parents allow you. Some people will kick
Yeah.
against it. And you mentioned you were not working. So the burden, you were bringing the burden on your I don't know if you're getting my point. You're bringing the burden. It goes
Yeah.
a way to strong support from family
Mm.
to friends to
Yeah.
team. So it goes a long way. It goes a long way. So this, if there's a perfect story, is a perfect story. But personally, I don't believe
Mm.
someone can have a perfect story. But we all have
Mm.
like important stories that make up who we are as individuals and as a community. So the one thing about the development sector as it is now in Africa, especially which Nigeria is part of, is can you hear me? Okay. All right. So I was just going to ask, what what role do volunteers play in SAF, and how can people get involved? Like, is there a room for them to like volunteer? Where can they get involved? And what role do volunteers play in SAF?
Yeah. So on SAF is basically run by volunteers,
Okay.
including myself. We are all volunteers. Nobody is currently being paid
Wow,
in SAF. Yeah.
that's
We are
good.
trying to get to we are trying to get to that stage where we can. I don't maybe based on the little experience I have, I don't really buy the idea of donors because I feel like they don't understand the issue. They don't understand the needs of the beneficiary, right? They don't understand. You might be trying to, for instance, okay, right now, for example, we are trying to um, provide scholarship. For instance, let's say we have girls who just got admission now and they need to pay school fees. And this is what we need money for now. And then you're looking for donors. You'll be seeing things like somebody that wants to do capacity building
Mm.
projects, donors for
Or
capacity building,
donate books
or
to a
donors
school in
donate,
Wakanda.
and I don't want to just be collecting donations just to be sure that I have projects going on, just
Mm.
to make sure I have. No, I want to solve pressing issues at hand, and I know that people would say just take the money and do the work, forgetting that you're
Mm.
channeling your energy, you're channeling your resources, your time, and the time of the people that are working with you to something else, forfeiting what is actually necessary.
Yeah,
So that's why, to be honest, this year I've not even applied for any grant or anything
yeah.
because I feel it's very demoralizing. Number one, you're not even sure you will get it. Number two, they're not even trying to address the need you really want to solve. I did a lot of applications last year.
All right. So, I agree with you completely. The idea of donors, I mean, it's very kind and generous to want to donate to organizations to contribute to the development
Yeah.
of Africa. You know, it's a very kind gesture. It's a nice thing. But like you said, I don't think donors contribute to shabby projects in a way because many donor organizations, the formal donor organizations, they have things they want you to achieve. They have their own KPI. Is let's say organization A
Mm,
is aimed at combating climate change. They want to show or they want to contribute to combating climate change. And they come to a community and they are combating climate change in a community that their issue, like in community development, for is like what you're saying, these girls and the issues they have in their community. Imagine coming in with tons of dollars or naira to combat climate change. You will teach them not to cut down trees, to plant trees, the rest of it, and hold a session on what climate change is, how the world. At the end of the day, you ask yourself, what have you actually done? How have you contributed to the development of that village? And it brings me to what I believe and what I know to be true, that development, oh God. All right. So please, I was just saying I agree with you entirely on the donor thing. And when you said you feel like you've wasted your time, I can relate to that like entirely. And I
yeah,
believe what you're doing is right. If NGOs and change makers, development practitioners in Africa can learn to source their own, treat the organization like a venture,
a
source their
business.
own
Yeah,
resources, they'll be able to
mm,
solve actual problems and not solve
yeah,
what the donor wants to be solved. Because often
mm,
donors donate to their own mission, not your mission. And then people on ground are forced to shift the scope of what they are doing to align to the scope of what the donor is donating to or for. And
yeah,
you
yeah,
see yourself running from pillar to post, and that is why we have lots of NGOs littered everywhere in Africa, lots of money in international aid and whatever, yet lots of problems that has not been solved for decades. So I agree with you 100%. And yeah,
yeah,
aside you said in the future you're looking at having this community for SAF, people that have benefited from SAF, the ladies. So now on, let's say in Ebonyi State, what's the impact you see SAF having on society? You are currently in Ebonyi State. What do you see? What impact do you see SAF having on the state and the country at large?
yeah. Okay, so first of all, let me answer the other question with the volunteers.
Yeah,
So anybody who would want to work, anybody who would want to work with staff can reach out to us. We are on social media, Instagram, or the person could also send an email or WhatsApp message. You can get all our contact details. Our website is sistersalifoundation.org. So you
okay.
can reach out to us through the website, or our email is on the social media. This video, you can just leave a comment and yeah, we can pick it up from there.
All right.
So with regards to, and let me also clarify something. Yeah, because I said I was talking about sustainability in terms of running the organization. We just currently launched the facility
Yeah,
where
I was going to
girls
come to
can
that.
do their business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's
Please tell
also
us
a
more
way we
about
are
the
trying to.
facility.
Okay, now I'm misplacing. I've not answered your question in terms of our impact in
We will
Ebony
get
State,
there.
but shall let me talk about the facility. So it's also, and it's, everything we do, we always think about the girls. Last year, and I was thinking about our girls who had learned the skills training, and I was just looking at them. Like I mentioned, some of them had gotten jobs already with other businesses in Abakaliki and they were working, but
Mm.
they were also complaining. They kept, like I said, they tell us everything about us in their journey and all. It was really hard because they were paying them little to nothing. I think they're paying 30,000 naira or 20,000 naira at some point. And you know how expensive things are, and they have to transport themselves, pay for rent. And like I said, these girls also want to go to school. They want to train themselves. Really from 20,000 naira monthly,
Yeah.
and then they will be able to do that. So it was really tough. And I just kept thinking about it. I can come out and say we've done skills training, and the girls are grateful for the skills training, but the goal is economic empowerment. That's what we say we do. Can you? I kept asking myself last week, can I beat my chest and say these girls have been economically empowered?
Empowered. Yeah.
You know, and I just said no, they are not. They
Yeah.
have skills training quite all right, but they're not economically empowered. So I started thinking, okay, so what should we do? I thought about giving them micro credits. Okay, what if we give them micro credits or loans and maybe zero interest loans? But
Yeah.
then I was like, how much will you give? So give somebody 100,000 naira. What will you do for the person? It won't really do much. And if you give A, you have to give B, you have to give C, you have to give D, and next day you have to repeat the same thing again.
Yeah.
It's not about buying machines. I was like, so who will you buy machine for? Who will you not buy for? And next day you have to do it again for the next set of girls. I just said, you know what, let's just have a facility. This business space where everything is there. If you're in fashion, everything you need is there. If you're in baking, everything you need is there. What we can do prior to you using the facilities, giving financial management training. So
Yeah.
we plan to do it. So even though we know the girls already have the business skills and all, we still had like a comprehensive financial management training at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Was it February or March? So with the girls who already have the skills, we taught them everything they need to know about financial management, even equity and all those other things.
Yeah.
And so the facility now is fully equipped for business operations. So our girls, whoever wants to do fashion, maybe you have clothes to sew, you have order to sew clothes and you don't have machines, you just go there and use and you pay
Mm.
1,000 naira per day. One, because if you know you have to pay for the space, you take your
Yeah.
business seriously. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the baking as well, everything they need is there. Right now, we're charging them just 1,000 naira, but I've told them we're going to increase it. So you'll also be, keep up, try your best so that you do all you can to earn your money. And if you have
Yeah.
1,000 orders of meat pie, you have capacity to do it. You have 1,000,000 orders of meat pie, you have capacity to do it. You want to sew 500,000 sportswears,
Good.
you have capacity to do it. You don't have any excuse now. And it's also open for the public too.
Yeah.
Anybody who has a skill that wants to produce an order, they can
Yeah.
come there, do it, pay us, and go.
Mm.
So we're even looking into now making our own products eventually that we
Yeah.
can sell in the name of staff. So we can
Yeah.
say we have meat pie. For every meat pie you buy, you are contributing to girl child education. For every
Mm.
puff puff you buy, you are contributing to maybe operations in SAF or whatever. So, but we'll still get to that
Yeah.
eventually. But for right now, we just started the facility and we're still just testing the waters and still making public awareness about it and how it works. Yeah, so for volunteers, we don't pay if you are
Yeah.
coming. And we've had our trips, and by the grace of God, our team members that are currently with us, they've been with us since 2022.
Yeah.
Some of them joined staff since the boot camp we had in 2020.
Yeah.
Some of them joined us from 2020, and they're still with us in
Yeah.
staff, and they are very committed. It's not
They've
like
bought
people that
into
you
the
call and
vision. They've
they are
bought
very
it.
committed. They take it personal. Yeah, some of them, some people don't even know me. They know them and they think they are the founders of staff. And that's how we are. right?
Yeah.
So if you're coming, you need to be. If you're not someone that will be that committed, we don't want we don't want anybody that
That's
will come
one
and
thing about volunteering. It has to the people have
yeah,
to be committed because without commitment,
yeah,
you now be I've it's something I've experienced. You now be chasing
mm,
them and oh you if they need to do like maybe a report and you will call and chase and you will not get it. But committed people will
yeah,
submit it before you even ask. So
yeah.
I can
Mm.
relate to that.
Yeah, so it's really been a blessing, and I just really thank God for it. Yeah, so regarding the question you asked about the impact we hope to make, like we all know, women make up half of the population,
More than
you know,
half.
of the world,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's more than half. I think it's about 49 point something percent.
Oh, really?
From the last time I checked, anyway, I think it's 49 point something percent. So let's just say we are half of the population
Mm,
right now, and for a very long time, we've been underutilizing that resource,
mm,
and feeling like some people are some gender is more resourceful or more beneficial than the other, which is a very big lie. We are all human beings, and
with
anybody can
functioning
carry this,
brains.
can carry the solution we are all looking for, right? So I'm
Mm,
looking at an Ebonyi state where we have an equal number of educated men and women,
mm,
or even more. If we have more women, let's have more educated women.
yeah.
We can't keep having a situation where we have a lot of girls in JS1, and then from SS1 the number starts reducing. SS2 the number of girls starts reducing. Then
Mm,
when you get to the university, you're looking for Z girls in a class in a Ebonyi State University.
yeah.
Ebonyi State University, you can't even, sometimes you can't find the Z girls in a whole class. It doesn't make sense. Where
Yeah.
are all the people that are coming from secondary school? Where are they going to?
Yeah.
Can we ask ourselves what happens between SS1 and year one university? Where do the girls go to?
Go to.
And Ebonyi State is not like we were saying earlier, we have a very high reproductive rate. People are giving birth every day. We have a lot of women and girls and children that are being born. So we cannot say population is reducing. That no, the population is not is even out of the
And why is
context.
it
Where are all
reducing
the
on
girls
just the
going
girls
to?
from a particular class?
Exactly. Why is it reducing? So I want to say an Ebonyi where we have a lot of girls coming into the university, from regardless of the echo. We want to get to that point where families can begin to see that there's a benefit.
Mm,
I was reading a post today. Sorry to even use an analogy. I was reading a post today, and a girl from Mbise, was saying after we say the bride price of Mbise people is high, that even before our mothers were born, Mbise girls were already going to school.
mm,
That was what she said. She said they are very, and after they say, we will say they tear eye.
mm,
They tear eye means they're exposed.
mm.
That's when people say, that means like derogatory for women to say
Yeah.
that going to school is not good for women. But it's a lie. When a woman is enlightened, when she's exposed, she's more useful to you. She's more
Exactly.
useful to the community. She's more useful to her family. Maybe say girls, for example, build houses for their families. They train their younger ones. They help their parents. They fly their parents abroad for medical health care.
Yeah.
Let's get to that point in Ebonyi State where not just that we start seeing women in maybe becoming educated and wealthy, but we will start seeing parents on their own, even though they are not economically maybe up to par,
Strong. Yeah.
like we say, but even in that state, they will still suffer to train their girls, not just the boys,
Yeah.
because now it has now become evident that training a girl is also beneficial as much as training a boy is. So
Yeah.
I want staff to open the eyes of Ebonians where we'll get to the point where families, NGO does not need to help them now, but the parents on their own will decide and say, we are going to train our girl. Look at this person's daughter is doing this person's daughter is
And
doing
probably
this,
not give them the
so that parents
25-year-old rule.
ah my
The
sister,
rule that
that
says
one is
you
story.
cannot be in your
That one
father's
is
house
story
for more
for
than 25 years.
that one is story for another day. Story for another day, because there's one of our girls. One of our girls that just got admission. We're really happy. I was really impressed that her parents agreed to, toss the money to pay her school fees for year one, only for them to call her and tell her that they've done all they can for her. At this point, you're your own. You better go and find man and marry for a girl in year one.
Mm.
And that is exactly what we see. They
No,
even tried to even
we
take her
I
to,
I had
mm,
such, not personal though, not personally though, but I had loads of that during my time too in school, and people
yeah,
who actually went to school with that. But what that does is you see the ladies labor and struggle, because the struggle of going to school alone is tedious, and now you need to go as a wife, not just as a wife. In the next day, you'll be going as a wife and as a mother.
and a
So
mother.
your living lecture, you need to go and shop. You have to cook for Oga. You need to take care of your child. It's a level of burden that we do
And
not want.
forgetting that the people that are doing this now are maybe barely in their early 20s.
Yeah, exactly.
And most men like this that they marry are not even that very supportive. You know, like I said, the story for another day.
I like
So let's not
it's maybe
even
I just
let's
see
not even go into
as
that.
I just shut up. So it can be, I get you one on. So
Yeah,
when you raise that, I got that 100%, because it's something I saw back in school, and it was not very nice. And you see,
yeah,
some of these people would go on with the husband saying they'll have to get pregnant if they're going to be training them. So the man usually need the assurance that you're not going to leave after you've been trained. So you need to get pregnant, you need to carry a child to lecture and what have you. So people's circumstances can really be different. And I like the vision you have actually for Ebony. We should be able to get to that point.
yeah,
Women should be allowed to dream. They should be allowed to live out their dream. They should be
yeah,
allowed to express themselves fully without feeling like they need to clip a part of themselves, flap your wings, but not so fast. Just they should be able to flap their wings as much and as
yeah.
fast as they possibly can. So I agree with you 100%. And yeah, this is like personal reflection. So I know there are lots of young people out there who want to do something for their communities, who want to contribute, who want to change scenarios. And we've had, although, like you said, we have lots of conversation for another day, but we had this one about how to start when you want to, do something like this. So, what lessons have you learned as a founder? And how what would you want to like say to an aspiring social entrepreneur or change maker?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, you need to be sure that you're not lying to yourself.
Mm.
The reason why I had to say this is that there are so many people because of um, the world we are in today and what is happening in the global space. Most people just want to start an NGO because they want to be able to get a scholarship
And
and travel
Jackpa.
to Europe. So if you're in that category, I'm not talking to you, right? I don't, you're your own, just do it your way. Whatever you
Mm.
want to do, you do, right? So, but if you really want to help people, if you really want to help people, to make life easy for people, then help people.
Yeah.
I think that's like the most basic way for me to say it. Just help people. It's this thing, it's not rocket science. I remember when I started, there was this particular the manager of the facility where we stayed for the boot camp. You know how I was so passionate. It was still, it was so passionate. I was telling him how doing this and doing that and how guess and he just said that you're like, are you married? I said no. Um, do you have a job? I said no. So he was like, why? So why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Because the people I know that are doing this are people that are retired, They've made their money, just doing it to give back at the end. And I remember what I asked him is, I said, if I met a girl today and she's 15 and she's currently at the threat of dropping out of school because she cannot pay YX fee because there's nobody that will pay her YX fee.
Please start with your response to the man. That was where it goes.
Okay. So I told him, if I met a girl today who is struggling to pay YX fee and her parents cannot support her and she's 15, if I said, okay, let me wait till maybe 10 years later when I've gotten a job, maybe I'm stabilized to an extent to help this girl. In 10 years, she'll be 25.
Mm.
So
I'm
maybe by
probably
then she would
married
have
with a child.
exactly, you get the point now. So if you want to help people, just help people. Just help people. There's so many cases I can point out where I think I don't know if Kenneth shared a story about a girl. He found a girl and he
Yeah,
called me. He called me. Yeah. That case, I think that's the toughest case I've ever had because we didn't know what to do. It was terrible.
yeah.
But that girl, if you see that girl now,
Wow.
if you see that girl now, my point is if you want to help people, you figure it out.
Yeah,
You
I
figure it out.
agree.
Unless you've not made up your mind. We literally carried that girl from the streets. We took her from the streets. I think Kenneth took her first to his house or something, and then to the police station. Police people rejected her and said you should take her back home. This girl was facing serious abuse in her house. Police said you should send her back home to that place.
Mm.
Okay, next morning we all went there. Melva, Kenneth, and myself. We went to the family, to the parents, not her parents anyway, to the people who raised her, her
Yeah,
guardians, and they rejected her. They said we should take her. We left their house that day, not knowing where to take that girl to. Because Kenneth's parents were even afraid, like, they can't house somebody's child. What
yeah,
if this girl dies here?
yeah.
We won't blame them. So we left the house that day. Everybody's mind was like, so what do we do? And the police said no. Ministry of Women Affairs were not picking their calls. Nobody was answering us. You will not see them in cases like that. Sorry, I'm even saying this, but it's true.
Wow.
You won't see them. We don't have a safe home in Abakaliki, in the whole of Ebonyi State. There's no safe home for girls like that. Even the one they sent us to at my 50, I went there. I think that's even where they send juvenile prison. It's
Remind
like a
home.
juvenile prison.
Mm.
Remand home. Thank you.
Yeah.
I went there. Even I was even put my enemy there. Place was like an abandoned. God of mercy. What did we do? That's why it's good to work with the church. We had to call a priest. The
Yeah.
priest called mile 4. We had to take her to mile 4. Mile 4
At what
admitted her
hospital?
as a patient in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yes, that was where she slept. So the priest was like, let's even run series of tests to know if she was exposed to anything because she had been on the street for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Can mention.
So they ran series of tests on her. We were going to the hospital, seeing her, buying her the things she needed. Ah, God, that girl was a miracle. After the hospital, I think the next place she stayed in was my house. She stayed in my house for I think about a week or more. From my house, was it in my house or like no, not my house. She stayed in Lucy's house. Then from Lucy's house, she stayed in my house. Before bottom line is that we finally figured it. We're just doing what we could. So we were just looking for solution at the moment. What could we do? Or we did that for like a year before we finally found a place for her to settle. Jen is doing fine now. She's currently in boarding school. She has a sponsor that is training her. You see her now,
Wow.
you know. So that's just an example. And again, for anybody, any change maker, any aspiring change maker, I know things are hard. You want to survive, you want to hammer, you want to make it. But the truth is, if you want to help people, you help people. You don't have to have money.
Yeah.
You don't have to have money.
Can testify
Up
to that.
until I mean, I don't think I've been someone that I've ever had a stable 9 to 5 since I
Yeah.
graduated. You know, I've never had a stable 9 to 5 job. I've done things, I do a lot of things, to make money here and there. And even the small money I make, it still goes back to staff. My team members will tell you at the end of the day. So I'm not a millionaire. I'm not even a Tanzanian, but you know, it's just this is to tell you what it takes to be a change maker in Nigeria. Yeah, so that is just it. If you want to help people, I think that's the best advice I would give, because everything else you can learn it on YouTube. You can learn starting, like I mentioned, I learned how to start an NGO online, boot camps here and there, courses here and there. But you see, if you want to help people, there's no excuse. You help people, you figure it out, you find a way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go online on WhatsApp, I beg, whatever it is, somebody has school fees to pay tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know if you get does not pay this money, heaven and earth will fall, and I don't have the money. I will enter people's DM. I will terrorize their life until they give me that money. You can pay. Again, like I said, if you want to help people,
You
you help
will.
people. Second thing I would say is start small. Start small. Don't be distracted by numbers. Number doesn't help anybody. If you want to help people, just start with one person. 2 people, 3 people here, and then do what you can. As God helps you. And then, of course, you have to depend on the help of God, because who is the greatest philanthropist of all time? It was Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus fed 5,000 men with five. Who are you? You can't beat that record. You cannot beat that record. So you
Yeah.
need to rely on Jesus for help. He's our OG. You need to rely on him, on the Holy Spirit to help you to provide. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you. So for today, I was going to ask for a call to action, but I think you've also touched that. I know you already mentioned on how people can like
Yeah.
reach you or Sisters Ally. So I'll just like give you an opportunity again, just in case someone who gets, if people want to reach out, if people want to contribute, either volunteer
Yeah.
or donate to the project or to the
Mm.
organization, how can they do that? You could like call out a number they can call, or
Okay.
maybe repeat the website again, emails that they can reach out to. So that would be nice.
You can reach out to us at sistersallyforcommunity@gmail.com.
Okay.
Sisters Ally, Ally,
Okay.
L for lion, Ally. Sisters Ally Community, Sisters Ally for Community at gmail.com. Or you can also send a WhatsApp message to 081 plus 234
Okay.
816 302 4120 plus 234 816 302 4120. You can check us out at sistersallyfoundation.org. That's our website.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've truly enjoyed myself, all through this
Yeah, me too.
conversation, and it's like beautiful to see the beautiful work you're doing and how you're going about changing people's lives. And the
Yeah.
whole approach actually is quite sustainable, if you ask me. And yeah, I agree with you. People over numbers. It's not about how
Yeah.
many billions of people you've reached, but how many people you've actually improved their lives. So thank you so much.